Well, Zimbabwean politician Barbara Rwodzi has become an internet sensation. She caused quite a stir during a chaotic sitting of the Pan-African Parliament in Midrand when SADC countries demanded a rotational presidency that includes member states. Now, in the chaos, Rwodzi is heard shouting, "No rotation, no vote." Let's take you back to some of those visuals from yesterday afternoon.
A debate on that. No, we are not going to accept that.
Not at this point, Chairman. Not at this point, Chairman. I asked
Democracy.
In our initial meeting, I asked you about
we
this,
have to talk,
and
we
you
have to talk
overruled me. Not at this point that you want to vote. No rotation, no voting, no election. Simple.
Honorable Mambo.
No rotation, no election.
Tu n'as pas la parole. Tu n'as pas la parole. Tu n'as pas la parole.
Ah, he's speaking.
Tu n'as pas.
Oh my. No rotation, no election.
Je ne sais pas combien d'argent on a dû te donner. No rotation, no election. No geographical rotation, no election.
Well, the Pan-African Parliament member joins us now, Barbara Rwodzi. Ms. Rwodzi, good evening to you, and thank you so much for your time.
Good evening to you all, and thank you for having me.
You've had some time to reflect on how yesterday's session unfolded and the chaos that it descended into. I wonder, just watching some of those visuals, perhaps you can share some of your reflections with us about what really was happening in that moment, in particular in your own mind, and why you stood up so vehemently against this issue of the voting and the majority vote.
All right, thank you very much. So the issue of geographical rotation in terms of leadership at Pan-African Parliament is an issue that has become of a concern to all of the parliamentarians at Pan-African Parliament. And this issue has been discussed and has been deliberated, has been debated since 2015. And unfortunately, our colleagues, parliamentarians from the Francophone countries, are always finding their way to sneak through and talking into us, convincing that next time, after 3 years, we will discuss and pave way for you. And it has happened 2015, it has happened in 2018, and now 2021. They wanted it to happen again their way. So as I was just sitting, in fact, we went through processes as an ad hoc committee, and I raised this issue in our initial meeting with my chairman, which she wouldn't have of it. And unfortunately, we are a committee of 5 people only. So my other 4 colleagues were not supporting what I was telling them to follow. So I had no any other way of resisting that this time around we are not taking any of that. And this time around we have to go by the policy and rules of African Union to follow rotation in every term of leadership for 3 years from the Bureau itself, which involves the President and the 4 Vice Presidents, in the committees, in the regional caucuses as well. So I just had to act the way that they understand best.
Was there any particular reason why some of the members that are part of your delegation did not want to support you?
You know, it's human nature. It is human nature. I wouldn't know. It's neither here nor there. Yeah, but people are different. Some people are as aggressive as I am. Some people stand for what they know is right. Some people stand while they're sitting.
Did you
Some people will be supporting while they're not talking.
Did you have consensus among them, however, going into the session which way of the debate you are going to be arguing and swinging in favor of?
Of course, as a region, we had a consensus. We had a consensus. It's an issue that we've been discussing for quite a while now. I joined the Parliament in 2018, and I found the issue on the table. And now, as we were coming to these elections, it's an issue that we set for as a region 2 weeks before we came to open the Parliament. When we held our own regional workshop, we discussed thoroughly on the issue, and we had a position about it. And as we opened the Parliament, we still had our position, and we just had to do what was necessary to do.
Is there any other way, again just based on your reflections from yesterday, that that session could have ended? So was it inevitable that it was going to come to blows, given the fact that there doesn't seem to be agreement on the way forward?
No, it wasn't inevitable. It wasn't inevitable. I'm sure our other colleagues were very sure that they would find their way and carry on with the elections and get to the inauguration, swearing-in process, and the session would continue. So it was not that inevitable that it was going to end, yes.
The Pan-African Parliament, from a public perspective point of view, has not always had the highest of regard. What do you think the scenes over the last couple of days have done for the image of the institution and the extent to which the public and Africans think it's useful and relevant?
Okay, yes, you're correct that Pan-African Parliament is not been regarded at the highest position by the public, particularly in Africa. Whenever an institution is not performing and is not regarded highly, who do you put a blame on except leadership? So for the past 15 years, there was just this one leadership that was taking the institution and handling the institution and everything to do with Parliament. If we have problems with Pan-African Parliament, who has to solve them except the leadership? And we are saying, let's change leadership. Let's change the minds. Let's change the brains. Probably things will look better. And probably Africans will have the Parliament that they are looking for, because we think differently, we act differently, we lead differently. So what's wrong with rotation? Because if the rotation is implemented, in one term there will be West Mind, another term there will be East Mind, another term there will be Central, there will be Southern and North. Among us, the regions, you must definitely get a leader who will put the Parliament in the place that is expected to be. And that's the bone of contention and our point of departure for the argument.
Ms. Rwodzi, I'm also seeing that on one of your arms you've got a bandage wrapped up. Is that as a result of what transpired yesterday?
Yes, it is a result of what transpired yesterday, but I'm fine.
Speak to me about what happened in particular that hurt you.
Oh no, I don't think it's necessary. We were in argument. I'm sure you have seen a number of videos and pictures, and in one of the incidents, I injured my arm.
So it wasn't an injury caused by anyone?
Of course, it was caused by 3 people who came to attack me.
Are you going to be taking any action against those 3 people?
Of course not. It's not a big issue. I was in a war zone and I expected that.
It's interesting to me because we also had the chief whip of the ANC, Ms. Phemima Jodina, who was also kicked in yesterday's session, and after leaving that session she wanted to go open charges against those that were responsible, and later following an apology she decided to withdraw those charges. Are there negotiations that take place, and And, you know, are these things, is violence something that we can negotiate our way through? Just perhaps a bit of your thinking around it.
I don't think you can call it negotiations as such. We are human beings, we are politics, and people will always talk and forgive each other, particularly if somebody has walked to you and apologized. I'm sure in our sense of maturity, we should let go.
What's the way forward in terms of this current deadlock in your view?
AU has to intervene and come clean in this issue. They have to put the issue of geographical rotation straight to the Parliament. They are our mother body, and they lead and they give direction on everything that has to happen in any institution in the African Union. So it is in their hands to put this straight and to put the house in order.
All right, let's leave it there for tonight. Member of Parliament for the ZANU-PF, she's an MP, Barbara Rwodzi, and you would have seen her in some of those scenes last night, and we certainly hope that you get